Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule. Today is Friday, July 10th, and it's a two-man show all the way through, just Payton Haverman and I. And we have another Mount Rushmore to do, Payton. You texted Jack and I during the last one, and I think the word was hilarious is what you called it for the black and yellow.
Gold, the black and gold draft was pretty funny. You two were kind of cracking me up a couple times because some of those picks were so goofy.
We try to record our shows within like a certain time frame. We will say like, oh, we'll meet at 6. We'll meet at 5. Jack and I said we'll meet at a certain time. And then we spent 45 minutes looking up black and gold things, black and yellow things, Payton. And I wish we had gotten that on video because it was just Jack going, oh. Like he just kept finding more and more things. And I was getting to the point, I told him after like 20 minutes, like, Jack, we got to stop. Like we have to actually do this draft or you're never going to stop.
It was the couple parts I remember. Neither of you knew Lucy's name, which was pretty funny to me. You guys said like Lucille or something.
I said Lucille and then Lois.
Yeah, Knowlton took Spirit. That was really bad. That was a bad pick. Yeah, you said Lois. That's what you said. The Happy Gilmore Bruins jersey instead.
That's a good one. You got it. That's a good one.
I guess, but you could have just said a Bruins jersey in general. No, but I liked it. I thought it was an interesting concept and a good draft.
Very much on the fly. There were a couple other ones. I don't even remember what they were just because we spent so much time doing that. But getting into today's, Payton, this is a fun one. I texted you about this going into the show. It's the glue guys of the Mizzou era under Eli Drinkwitz. So we'll go back to the 2020 season. Doesn't mean we'll have a guy from every season. And we didn't put a cap on this. I can say, he had to be under 750 yards in his career, or, he couldn't have so many snaps on defense. These can be starters. I mean, there's 11 guys on the field at a time. And I think from a basketball perspective, there will never be another glue guy like Jevon Pickett. I think whenever you think of glue guy in general at Mizzou, it's always Jevon Pickett because I think they just straight up called him the glue guy. That was his nickname. But from a football perspective, there's a lot to go off of, and I'm sure we'll have a bunch from the 2023 season and beyond. But Payton, you said you wanted me to go first, right?
Yeah, I'll let you go first. I think glue guy is such a tough definition to narrow down. It's like really a vibes thing. Very rarely does someone just get called a glue guy, but I want you to go first. I absolutely have my first pick locked in, ready to go. Unless you don't pick who I think is consensus 1-1.
I think this guy's consensus 1-1, and I've thought about this before. And we'll mention this as well. We did not make big boards. We thought this would be perfect where we just think about the guy. Whenever you think glue guy, Mizzou football under Eli Drinkwitz in these last 6 seasons, who is that guy? And to me, I don't think there's anyone else that defines glue guy other than Barrett Bannister. I think he is 1-1 for me. That was too easy. I think when you think of the stickiest name in Mizzou football that just kept some of these teams together, and of course he didn't play on like the best of the best Drinkwitz era teams. He was on the last team before the Cotton Bowl and things started to turn around for Mizzou. But he was a part of, building that culture that in between from Barry Odom into Eli Drinkwitz, third and Bannister. I mean, we can go on. And he's a friend of the program. So, I mean, he had to be on this Mount Rushmore.
Absolutely, no doubt. I mean, this is pretty much the face of glue guys. I will also say to viewers that have been Missouri fans longer than 2019 and forward, I am sorry because we're definitely going to miss a lot of guys from definitely those mid-2000s teams and the early 2010s teams that absolutely should get drafted. We just don't know. They're before Kenny and I's time. But I think that's a great pick, Kenny. We might honestly have to caveat this with from 2019 onwards, so people.
It's definitely, so that's why I mentioned at the top. It's Drinkwitz and on. It has to be
okay. Yeah,
2020
Drinkwitz
until
on.
now.
Okay, you did say that. Drinkwitz era glue guys. To me, what I think glue guys, I think guy that's not necessarily a star, but like a very valuable contributor, like a guy that makes a couple plays a year where you're like, yeah, that guy's really useful. And to me, the not just guy, but really the position group that comes to my mind when I think of this is the 2023 defensive tackle room. I think all of those guys should be eligible except Christian Williams. I think he was too big as a team leader and a star.
Man, I was with you there. Yeah. I said both of us have to have someone from that 2023 defensive tackle room, and I wanted to see if I could slip Christian Williams past you.
I think he became, especially because in 24 he was like a leader. I don't think you can go with him. I was really torn. I think this is probably not the right answer. I think the right answer is probably Realist George, but I'm going to take Josh Landry. Josh Landry might have been the fourth D tackle for all I know on that team, but you look at what he did, 32 total tackles in 23, didn't even have a sack, but just a good, you'd rotate him in, he'd stuff a run. That was just kind of what that D tackle room did in 24. It was him, Jay Jernigan, Christian Williams, and Realist George all had different roles, different niches that they filled. And Josh Landry definitely was like a dirty work guy. To me, he's like the perfect kind of like guy to think of a glue guy. I don't know if he was a good big leader in that defense or on that defense or anything like that, but to me, he is the dirty work guy of that 2023 D tackle room.
If you want to talk about, dirty work guy too, do you remember he broke his hand or his wrist for parts of his Mizzou career? He played in a club. So I think that plays into that plays into the glue guy, in my opinion, too.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's exactly the type of stuff you'd want from a glue guy, just a guy that's putting it all out on the line. So to me, Realist George might be the right answer, but I feel like he became more and more popular with Mizzou fans as time went on.
Yeah, I was a little bit on the fence with Realist because I think he's more of a cult hero at the same time. If you want to talk about cult hero on those defenses, that's someone I'd go with. And I hate that, we're going to probably, nix Christian Williams in this as well. And it's good to point out that it was like D-line transfer you there for a little bit. Josh Landry came from Baylor. Realist George came from Miami. And then in Indy in the JUCO ranks. Jay Jernigan came from Oklahoma State. Yes, I mean, there's a lot of these, guys that came in and transferred into this. Christian Williams was from Oregon. And I'll just throw out my fun Christian Williams story that I've always loved. He came up to the podium. I saw this photo posted on Twitter. He was wearing like a neon yellow greenish shirt. I mean, he was just trying to be as flashy as he could just to be funny. And he had these big sunglasses on as well, just these big Nike sunglasses. And he kind of got into a conversation about, picking up trash and how he's always kind of holding his guys accountable. And like you mentioned, Payton, if it wasn't for that 2024 season where he became a starter and one of the big guys on defense, I'd probably say he's a perfect fit for a glue guy, especially in that 2022 and 2023 seasons.
Absolutely would agree. I just think by the end, he was too big a leader, too big a force. By the way, he's still at the Denver Broncos as a UDFA. So cool to see that he's still kicking in the league right now. Second pick, I'm sticking defense. And I'm going with an unheralded 3-year starter that I don't know that people remembered by the end of his time. I mean, he was never a big flashy guy, and look, he was not a superstar by any means. I don't think he even got a tryout in the NFL, but a very good plug-and-play starter in the secondary. Gave you pretty stable play, which I think is something Mizzou could use even now at safety. I'm going with Joseph Charleston. Joseph Charleston, again, maybe this is too big because, again, 3-year starter. But we've established, I think starters can be on this list. Absolutely. Javon Pickett who was like our glue guy in basketball, was like the star of the 22-20 or the 21-22 team, which says a lot more about that team, but still. Joseph Charleston, I mean, maybe the most memorable play to me is his last game at Faroe when he broke up like a dime of a pass from Taylon Green that would have given Arkansas the win. But very much an unsung guy. He was never at the top of anyone's like list on those defenses for like reasons they were good, but very rarely did you see him get torched, get really blow an assignment or anything like that. I remember he transferred in from Clemson from 22. They got a lot of bigger names in 22, and he was one of the first guys that committed where I was like, wow, we're getting a dude from Clemson to come in and play. Like, it's not Bensi Polgar or something like that. That was nice. To me, he's kind of just another dirty work guy, just head down, nose to the grindstone. Lunch pail. I know that's like one of your big words. That's Joseph Charleston to me. I think he was probably a leader on that defense just by virtue of being one of the old dudes. So Joseph Charleston to me, and you might be able to speak a little on it since you covered the team in 22, but he certainly seemed like a glue guy to me.
Very much. We talk about everyone watches film. I mean, everyone's going to watch that. But he just like talked about just like laying around on the couch, people scroll on their phones. He just scrolls film. He just likes to watch film. So I think that might be something that we could like invest in, Payton, where you have like those apps like TikTok and Instagram where you just scroll and watch these like quick videos. Just make them like reels or clips of teams playing football and just like huddle clips. That's $1 million idea right there. But that was something Joseph Charleston always talked about, is that, Blake Baker would walk in on him, getting doing recovery stuff, whatever, ice bath or whatever it was. And Blake Baker would say, yeah, he's just always watching film. He always has his phone out watching it. And throughout that whole time too, is his time at Mizzou, he was a dad. His son came to those press conferences. I remember him sitting there after games as well. So I think that's kind of a cool thing that, people don't really know too much about, just his life off the field. And you talk about guys from Clemson, Payton, him and Toriano Pride got better with time. Joseph Charleston was around for a little bit longer, an extra year than Toriano Pride, but Toriano Pride turned himself into an NFL cornerback at Mizzou, and Joseph Charleston definitely finished out his college career better with the Mizzou Tigers than when he started with the Clemson Tigers. With my second pick, Payton, I thought I could go in a couple different ways, but this guy's going to come off the board eventually for me. When you talk about the most unheralded offensive lineman in Mizzou,
I know exactly where this is going. I almost took this guy because of this.
I couldn't find the tweet. There is definitely a tweet out there about like, oh, hey, Xavier Delgado finally had a penalty. Like, what's that about? He hadn't had one in 2 years. I probably could go through PFF and find it. But offensive guard wise, no one got more, or person who deserved more credit than he actually got was Xavier Delgado. Especially on that 2023 team. It was a team that, catapulted itself into the Joe Moore Award category and was in all these lists that by the end of the season with the best running back in the country right behind him. It's hard not to put Xavier Delgado, and there might be some fans on here that don't even know Xavier Delgado's name just because he was one of those more unheralded offensive linemen in 2022 and 23 for Missouri.
Maybe the most unsung one in 23, which is crazy. But you look at the other names between Connor Tollison, Armand Membu, Javon Foster, and Cameron Johnson, who really came on later in the year. I think it's fair to say Xavier Delgado was very overlooked.
Most definitely. And he probably had some of the best PFF grades of those 5, if you really dive into the numbers. This next one, I'm sure he's on your mind. If you had put down a board together, Payton, I don't know if he would have been on your board. When I think of unheralded, I wouldn't say unheralded. So when I think of the glue guys at the edge rusher position in the last couple of years, 2 names come to mind. One of those is Austin Firestone, who did retire, and will always have that big play against Vanderbilt. But a guy who Mizzou fans should remember a little bit more, and DJ Coleman came to mind as well. But Niles Gaddy had a great 2023 season with Missouri. 13 games, he had 13 solo tackles, 22 combined, and 4 sacks in there as well.
I don't know how I feel about you picking Niles Gaddy.
Because he's your guy?
You were the Niles Gaddy hater.
I was never a Niles Gaddy hater. That is a ridiculous statement. But I'm going to take Niles Gaddy. He didn't play with gloves. Oh, I do remember me trolling you about Niles Gaddy. I do remember that now.
Because I said, like, we need, like, a Niles Gaddy type that'll just come in and, like, get a sack or two. And you were like, he didn't have a sack after, like, week 3.
He had a great start to the 2022
on Niles Gaddy.
I was not hating. I was more trolling you for it. But he played with no gloves. I think that's a glue guy. Niles Gaddy was, great edge depth for Missouri in 2023.
Totally agree. Name of the game for that 2023 D-line was depth. Obviously, Darius Mizzou becoming a first-rounder helped, and Johnny Walker was a great sidekick. Not trying to downplay Johnny Walker with that, because the next year he stepped up and became the man. But I certainly think you're correct. It's tough. I feel like I don't want to go Mookie Cooper because I think he became too big. But that is another guy who I really think came in, saw the worst of it, kept building and building and building, became like a real rock solid starter, made a lot of plays. I think I am just going to have to take Mookie Cooper.
I think it's completely fine. I think that's totally fair. I think he
fits it too much, yeah.
When you think, take it from this perspective, Payton. When Mookie Cooper came in, I don't think he lived up to the expectations that many probably put on him. He comes in as a transfer from Ohio State. You remember in that 2021 season, probably wasn't getting the ball the best way he should have. I remember there was a lot of end around.
I was going to say, I don't think they used him properly, but that's neither here nor there.
And he had some injuries, especially in his final year with Missouri. But when you think of, glue guy in the wide receiver room, when there was 2 NFL wide receivers, they're probably more of the top options in Luther Burden III and Theo Weiss Jr. Mookie Cooper was a great third wide receiver when he was healthy and he was on the field, and he was a perfect glue guy. I think that's fair. He was definitely someone I was thinking about.
Yeah, and again, you could totally tell me this is too big, and I maybe agree with you, but you look at it, he never had more than 447 yards in a single season. Had a good career at Mizzou. I don't think he even got a shot in the league, in any of the leagues, which sucks. But I always thought Mookie Cooper was rock solid. I don't know that I'd say he was like a super leader or anything, but seemed to be like a very like a good personality that a lot of guys were drawn to. Like I remember Drink would go to him on the sidelines so he could go, let him cook, let him drink in the mini movies. So Mookie Cooper, I think, is on my list. I'm struggling for this fourth one because my initial inclination was to go Darius Smith, but I don't know if Darius Smith is really a quote unquote glue guy. Like he plays, like if you even look at some of his Instagram posts, he plays like a madman, and I think his teammates love it. He stuck around after a really, really unfortunate injury. Had a really solid year last year. 4 sacks as the third edge rusher. And now I think he's going to have to be the man this year. I don't know how much of a leader he is, and I don't know how much I would say he fits glue guy, though, is the issue. I want your take on that, Kenny.
I think he falls in the Marquise Gracial camp. There's a lot of expectations for Darius Smith this year. He is going to be one of the 2 starting edge rushers. I just think it's going to be one of those things that you're going to have to eat crow if you come back to it and he somehow replaces the loss of Zion Young in the aggregate, and he's the one that tallies 9 sacks. That's just one of those things. I just think he might be too good to be a glue guy after this next year.
Do you think Zion Young's probably too much to be a glue guy?
Yeah, I mean, second rounder, that's tough to say that he's a glue guy.
Yeah, so you might have to – I'll let you pick here, and I'll come back. I'll circle back.
I wanted to go here with a glue guy. Mizzou doesn't have, someone like Matthew Slater. Like it's hard to say that at the college level where you have this walk-on who's, the guy on special teams, the one that's going to make all the plays. It's so noteworthy. And I'm going to go with this guy, Payton, and you might not like it, but I'm going to take him. He was a walk-on. He's from Columbia, went to Rockbridge. I'm going to take Will Norris here. I think from a glue guy perspective, as someone who stuck around, never left Missouri, played all the way through. Yes, I mean, the most noteworthy play for Will Norris is that he got a rule changed against Kentucky after destroying the punters. Is it fibula or femur? One of the, whatever it was in his leg. That's just, I mean, he was a special teamer through and through. And, he was a guy that just lived and breathed black and gold. I think that's a glue guy on special teams. It wasn't the best special teams units that he was a part of under Eric Link, but I think it is fair to say that Will Norris falls into the glue guy mantra.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue, is that Mizzou special teams was really bad. So I don't know that I could I'm not going to dispute it, because this is undoubtedly, I'm sure he was kind of that kind of guy in the room. It's just the special teams was so bad, I was not going to give it really too much shine.
I got one for you if you want to consider it. I did mention his name earlier, but I don't know if you think of him as a glue guy.
Who were you thinking?
DJ Coleman, 2022 season.
I don't know.
Too good?
Yeah, and I don't know that I'd say he was a glue guy. That doesn't quite ring for me. I don't want to go wide receiver back to back. I could make the argument that Logan Muckey is in there. Man,
that's a special teamer. I totally forgot about that. He was a special teams captain.
I'll take Logan Muckey. Why not? I'll take Logan Muckey. I mean, in an ideal world, I would have gotten to take EJ Ndoma-Ogar.
It's on my mind. I'll admit
Mizzou didn't hate him for some reason. But that's neither here nor there. Logan Muckey, obviously an incredible story. It was super cool. He got to catch a ball from Brady Cook in the bowl game, the Music City Bowl. Felt like they should have tried to force-fed him a touchdown at some point, but they didn't do that. But Logan Muckey, you've heard so much stories about. Was at Mizzou for how many years? Like 4 or 5?
5.
So 5 total? Yeah, so... And obviously a team captain with a great story. So to me, Logan Muckey, I think is I'll take one for the special teams units, I guess.
So here's our list. This is mine: Barrett Bannister, Xavier Delgado, Niles Gaddy, Will Norris. I'll throw positions on there: wide receiver Barrett Bannister, offensive guard Xavier Delgado, edge rusher Niles Gaddy, and linebacker special teamer Will Norris. Payton took defensive tackle Josh Landry, safety Joseph Charleston, wide receiver Mookie Cooper, and wide receiver special teamer Logan Muckey. That's our group. Jack did mention that he didn't think he would do all that well on this. And I will add, if we did 3 people all the way across, I think these lists would get a little bit absurd.
Yeah, we'd have to really dig. Free EJ Ndoma-Ogar, though, man.
Do you remember his transfer post? Drinkwitz had called him like a project at one point, and he posted on there. I just don't think it was like a very happy ending between the two sides.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one game he played. Who would have thought that a Mizzou podcast in 2026 would be talking about EJ Ndoma-Ogar? I remember vividly he got the start against South Carolina in 22, played awesome, got hurt, then never played again. Like they just did not trust him, it seemed like, which is a shame. But that's how it goes. And it really didn't really matter in the long run. But I will say that some of those 2022 personnel decisions on the O-line were not good. See how well Armand Membou did the second he started playing. And remember we're going to go on Tangent City here. Remember they almost moved Armand Membou again going into 2023 so that Marcellus Johnson, I think it was, could play right tackle. Gosh.
Here's the transfer portal post. Thank you for being true and consistent. This was to Marcus Johnson and Brandon Jones, his offensive line coaches that he had at Mizzou. Thank you for being true and consistent from day one. The opportunity to be a Tiger and a better lineman, and the confidence to walk with my head high and know that I am so much more than a work in progress. And he put work in progress in quote marks. So I knew that there wasn't the best ending. And I'll admit too, he ended up at Arkansas State I thought he was going power 4. Maybe I was just like drinking the EJ Noma Ogar Kool-Aid or something, but I thought he was going to be a power 4.
I don't know. I just every time he got in the game, it seemed like good things happened. I mean, to be fair to him, he did start 13 games. I was looking at the box score, or at least played in 13 games at Arkansas State, so it worked out for him. He did wind up getting to play a good amount of time, but also I love that his @ on Twitter is @IHOP75.
Yeah, I'm looking through his account.
Oh,
right now.
because like the House of Pancake. That's good. That is a
I didn't think about
Twitter
that.
name. Yeah,
I
there you
forgot
go.
that he started at Oklahoma. He was an All-American too.
I was hyped for EJ and Doma Ogar. There you
I
go.
found
You
a
got
photo-
two guys in a 5-minute EJ Doma Ogar conversation.
Look at this. I'm going to put it up on the screen real quick. I found a photo of him and Spencer Rattler.
Wow.
That's Spencer Rattler, right? From the left?
Yeah, that has
Yeah.
pretty
Isn't that
sure.
crazy?
That's like 60 yards of penalties in one picture.
Yeah, that's awesome though. That's really cool.
I miss 2022 Mizzou, man. What a time to be alive. That was a terrible team.
One more thing on EJ. Do you remember he had the sorry, yeah, we just keep going. We spent like 4 minutes talking about him. Do you remember he had the raccoon skinned hat that he would wear on the sidelines?
Yes. Oh my God. I totally forgot about that. But yes, I do remember it.
I think Jack Sobel tried to write a story about it if he didn't actually.
Why?
It's a funny story. I mean, he's just walking around on the sidelines with the hat on.
Why didn't Sobel write it?
Oh, I don't know if he actually got a hold of anyone for the story. I can't remember. It's so long ago. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this first segment on the Unwritten Rule, brought to you by FanDuel. On the other side, we'll be talking about quick hits, a little bit of World Cup without Jack Knowlton, and we'll revisit a bet that Payton ended up passing on the other side. Quick hits time. Payton, were you confused at all that Belgium wore pink and blue uniforms?
Yes, I was.
Well, I got the answer for you. Belgium's blue and pink jersey is an official away kit designed by Adidas to pay homage to the country's surrealist art movement, specifically the renowned painter René Magritte. The pastel blue and pink circles echo the floating objects in his iconic paintings, like the Son of Man and the Voice of Space.
Well, whatever the hell they were, they beat the crap out of us. So
embarrassing loss for.
I'd love to get Knowlton's thoughts on that.
I bet he's on the side of, we should still cheer for the U.S. This was still a great World Cup. I think just going out the way you did on your own turf, sucks. Not a good feeling.
Yeah. I saw there's or not some people, just one guy was like, they should not keep Pochettino. I would have to disagree, but I am the most casual of casual soccer fans. I literally only tune in for U.S. games.
Bill Belichick is a winner. Knows
That's
football.
who they should hire?
Yeah.
He's a little busy. We're going to move on.
Pick your jersey of the week.
Yeah, my jersey of the week is going to be every Big 12 teams. Let's just pick one at random. Iowa State. They have a famous logo, Kenny? Iowa State? Yeah, there you go. I'm picking every Big 12 jersey because this came out at Media Days for the Big 12, which happened this week, and were notably quite normal and not at all weird. The Big 12 and Monster Energy have entered a multi-year sponsorship agreement, Brett Yormark, who is the Big 12 commissioner, announced. Schools will have jersey patches and field logos featuring the brand. I'll tell you what, if they just keep them green on every single jersey, that's going to look tacky. If they blend in the colors, it'll look a little better, but it's pretty nuts that just the Big 12, like a conference, can just mandate that you have to wear a jersey patch now. But, I'm just kind of numb to it all. This is what is happening to college football. It's becoming more and more corporate and the like, so just get used to it.
There will be other patches that teams can have too. It doesn't in the Big 12, especially. Like here, I pulled it up for our YouTube viewers. Kansas has announced a multi-year sponsorship with Ripple, featuring XRP cryptocurrency branding on uniforms across its athletic programs.
Crypto. No comment.
All right, Jack's Jersey of the Week. Going back to minor league baseball, back-to-back weeks, the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, the high A affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers, will be the Wisconsin Frozen Pizzas coming up. They called it the cheesiest identity in minor league baseball. If you don't know Jack Knowlton off the show, huge frozen pizza guy. I lived with him for 2 years. His freezer always had frozen pizzas, and he had a brand called Jack's Frozen Pizza, and I think that's why I liked it the most.
Yeah, that has to be because I've had Jack's Frozen Pizza, and it's not very good. I'm just kidding. Jack's is fine pizza. I was just messing with our friend Jack Knowlton. These look terrible. I don't think they look good at all. No, I'm messing because it's a Brewers affiliate. I love when minor league baseball is just goofy like this. It's what makes it the best. Also, have you ever driven by the Timber Rattlers Stadium? Because I've done it a lot, actually.
Never been to Wisconsin. It's the second time I
Never
brought that
once.
up today.
You've never stepped a foot in there?
No, I should this month, though.
Really? What are you doing?
None of your business.
Fair enough.
It'll be I don't know, surprise. There, that's the word I wanted.
Why are you being weird about this?
Going to a Frozen Pizzas game. Nah, I'm just kidding. We can talk about it later. We had another show.
Okay. Why don't we move on then? Stop letting it be awkward and move the show along.
Yeah, I'm trying.
What's going on?
No capping. He's the main bird.
My Shawnee's main bird of the week is Raheem Floyd, the class of 2027 cornerback from East St. Louis, Illinois, committed to Florida on Tuesday over Missouri. My bird connection, there could be a couple. You could choose yours. Mine, like in the sense of football, the ball flies. He's in the backfield. He's flying around like a bird.
Nope, that is not good enough.
But the East St. Louis high is the Flyers. So I thought that would work well because airplanes fly and so do birds.
Okay. What about Raheem Floyd?
Raheem Floyd did commit to Florida over Missouri. He was very excited about it. Got to talk to him while I was there during his commitment. I think this is one that Missouri will still stick around in, as in his recruitment. Florida does play Mizzou at home. It may behoove Missouri to invite Raheem Floyd to that game. His teammate will probably be at that game too, and Jabari Lofton, who's committed to Missouri as a safety prospect. And I think that's a game that they probably should get him back out if they're still chipping away, trying to get his commitment before December and get that signature during the early signing period.
So you don't think this one's over per se?
No, I wouldn't say so. As much as everyone wants to shut down recruitments, and it's so fresh too. We're recording this 2 days after. I really think that Missouri is going to stick around and try to stay in Raheem Floyd's ear and still recruit him. This is a cornerback that they want. He has had such a impactful offseason. It's featuring a lot of awards. He won the defensive MVP at the opening. He continues to get better and better anytime he's in front of evaluators and scouts. He's just going to he's someone that Mizzou would really want in that secondary for the future, someone that they'll continue to recruit until it's official.
Very nice. Well, yeah, hopefully they flip him because, man, they have just really lacked some impact cornerback recruits out of high school. And they've done a decent job of plugging away with starters out of the portal. Pride was choppy but eventually settled in. Trey Norwood was really more of a developmental piece. He did develop into a very good corner for them, but you'd really love to see some more Ennis Rakestraws and some more Chris Abrams drains. And I know
Marcus Clark.
And I know Chris Abrams drain didn't come here as a corner recruit, but still.
Your bird of the week? Main bird of the week.
My main bird of the week is going to be Jevon Porter. If you're wondering why, he's teammates with Brendan Housen from Iowa. In his second summer league game with the Grizzlies, shout out Killian Wright for getting the stats together. He had 12 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 4 for 9 field goals, 2 for 6 from three-point land. He played 26 minutes.
I feel bad, but that top comment did make me laugh. The top comment reads, "How is he better in the NBA than college?"
Dude, he had that South Dakota game. People need to get off his back. He was like 9 for 9 in that game. What was it?
Man, he sat out the remainder of the season. He was injured, and then even if he wanted to come back, he was still trying to pocket that opportunity to get that extra year of eligibility. Didn't work out in his favor, but you can always say that he donned an NBA uniform now. He played well in his second game. That's better than the stats I gave you last time he was on the court.
Yep.
2 minutes. I think that's all I had.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
3
All right,
minutes.
Jack's main bird of the week is Shawn Phillips Jr. This comes from Eli Hoff of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. An Ohio judge granted an injunction to a group of 15 former college basketball players, including ex-Mizzou center Shawn Phillips Jr., that will make them, for now, eligible to play this season and able to sign without using the transfer portal. For what it's worth, yes, Missouri has a full roster right now. 15 of those spots are filled. We knew that Shawn Phillips was planning to sign a deal with the Pelicans. So there's your bird connection in New Orleans. He wasn't
somewhere. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it was CBS Sports reported that. So that was like that's where we thought he was going to end up. Because we even mentioned on the show, we were like, oh, I guess we'll just have to, look at Mark Mitchell right now. There's probably no one else from this current Mizzou team, this past year's team that will be in the NBA Summer League. And he ended up being another name. He wasn't on the Summer League roster that the Pelicans released earlier this week. And now he has an opportunity to play in college for now. That is, the thing that we always have to keep saying, because the NCAA was not happy about this ruling either. The NCAA as an entity is still going to go after it.
Shawn Phillips Jr., I will also mention, has another bird connection. He's from Dayton, Ohio, home of the Dayton Flyers.
That doesn't count.
Who would have been the worst 1 seed ever in 2020. Hopefully Jack Knowlton is listening. They would have been bouncing around 32. They were a Xavier 1 seed.
Best thing you learned this week, Payton.
Best thing I learned this week. There are 2, among others, former Mizzou, not even athletes, because one of them is not an athlete. Drew Lock is in the Mizzou Hall of Fame, as is former special teams coordinator Andy Hill. They were both inducted at one time in the video. Pretty cool moment there. Not surprising, I'd say, especially for Drew Lock's perspective. Of course, when he was in college, broke every single record under the sun, it felt like. And, of course, Missouri was able to reward him by losing the Liberty Bowl. That was the peak of Drew Lock's tenure, which is very sad. But he is still deserving of a spot in the Hall of Fame. And, of course, Andy Hill as well.
Mr. Bowl Game expert. Put on your bowl game hat.
What helmet were they wearing in that Liberty Bowl?
It was white helmets,
White.
all white uniform with some black
All white,
stripes.
yes.
Yes,
Yep.
and it was the Sailor Tiger. I know that.
Yes, the white Sailor Tiger.
Peyton,
I don't know. Go ahead.
I'll let you know about this already. I did a podcast with Jack Brown, the Missouri football committee. It's not going to come out till Wednesday. I did ask him at the end of it, what's your favorite decal? Because he did wear the regular oval tiger, but he told me Sailor Tiger is his favorite.
Yeah, I got to get my helmets back out and put them behind me. I, of course, own a black one that they wore against Vanderbilt for homecoming in 2022. I don't know if I like that one more than the white one or not, but
That's what I'm going to ask you. Bowl game hat on, because you're the bowl game expert. Did Drew Lock ever win a bowl game?
nope.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah, very sad.
All right, best thing I learned this week comes from the baseball world. Former Missouri head coach, and now he's part of the development staff for the Tigers, returned under Carrick Jackson. But Tim Jamison was named the 2026 Kiwanis Club of Columbia Don Farrow Sportsperson of the Year award. It was announced on Tuesday. If you want some of those numbers, when he was a skipper for the Tigers, he led Missouri to 698 wins in his 22-season tenure. And of course, I just mentioned at the top, Jameson currently serves as the program's director of program development.
I was not aware he was actually still around. I figured he had actually just departed after leaving as the pitching coach, but very cool.
I didn't realize he is second all time in victories behind Gene McArthur.
I think I did know that, but
that's like two seasons worth of wins behind. So he was at 698. McArthur got to 733 as the all-time coaching victory.
I don't know anything about Gene McArthur, by the way, so please don't ask me any more about him. But
yeah. All right, Jack's best thing he learned this week. Free agent Jordan Clarkson has agreed to a 1-year, $3.9 million deal to return to the New York Knicks. Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul and agent Brandon Kavanaugh told ESPN's Shams Charania.
Not really super surprising. He came in and gave them good minutes, seemed like an offensive spark. And, Missouri, it's the most important part here.
For reason he chose it. I don't think there's another world where he takes Jordan Clarkson if he's not a Mizzou graduate. Best beats of the week brought to you by FanDuel. Payton, would you like to lead this one off?
Sure. I think Norway's going to beat England. Why? Because, I don't know, Norway seems to be having a good World Cup. I like the row that they do. And Holland seems pretty good.
Some people don't know that you do that on purpose, where you take someone's name and you mispronounce it to the point that other people also don't know. And you did that to me with Jazz Chisholm. To this day, I call him Yaz because I thought you were serious because we were still early into our friendship when you told me that.
I could not believe people kept calling him Yaz. I
still call him that. You still call him that, yeah.
Yeah, okay, the one I don't do that with, I just genuinely mispronounce it every time, is Fernando Tatis.
That was one you used to do on purpose, though, and you ruined it.
Tatis, okay, I used to actually call him Tatis, and then you would get annoyed, and so I would keep doing it on purpose. But at first, that was not a joke. That one was genuinely, like, I just thought it was Tatis for a while.
I feel bad for Erling Haaland now getting put into that camp of professional athletes. That game, Norway and England, will be this Saturday at 4 p.m. The 8 p.m. game on Saturday, this is the one that Jack Knowlton and I both have picks from. You took Norway plus 190. Jack is going to take Switzerland plus 240 in its game against Argentina. I'm going to take Argentina minus 325. Yes, Argentina had a scare in its last game, even like the last two games, I guess that's fair to say. Cape Verde and then Egypt.
The Egypt one was egregious.
Yes, and even in that game, Lionel Messi had a PK blocked. But this is an Argentina team that just continues to find ways, and I think it'll continue to find a way against Switzerland.
Why do you think Knowlton took Switzerland?
He likes the underdogs.
That's stupid.
We'll point out, too, before your joke, Payton, you did get a nullified one for this past week. Look at me. You took Norway, and I won. But we gave you Belgium money line to beat the United States, and you didn't like that, but you could have been a winner.
I could have, but it wasn't one I picked, and it wasn't one I believed in, so I wasn't going to stand by that.
Do you believe that
I believe that we have lost. Why don't we move on to joke? This one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show. Kenny, what do you call a medieval lamp? This is something important to you.
It's not a lantern?
No, when you had to stay in Todd by yourself for the entirety of Thanksgiving week, you needed one of these.
Nightlight.
A night light. Yes. What do you call a medieval lamp? A night light.
That was good. I did have a nightlight. That room got dark. No, I did.
Oh, I have a night light just so I can see. Yeah. It's not a fear thing.
Yeah, nightlights are cool.
Nightlights get a bad rap. I have a one that glows different colors. Like it
shoots stars on the ceiling. Yeah.
Okay, mine doesn't do that, but
no. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of The Unwritten Rule. We hope everyone had a nice 4th of July as well last week. And I don't even think we mentioned that at the top of Monday's show. But dog days of summer, we'll be doing some position previews soon, knocking out some of these, I guess, drafts too. Mount Rushmore's, kind of looking back on our time at Missouri and some of those football and basketball teams with it as well. And we'll talk about any news. And I just remembered, Payton, Mizzou and Indiana have a non-conference game, and we did not even mention it. It is in the works, according to
we'll talk about it more Sunday. We'll talk about
we'll talk more Sunday. We might have an official date.
I thought Milton was going to take it and put it in his quick hits. That's why I didn't call it.
I did say in our group chat, I said we're not having a very newsy week, and I said knock on wood, and then that came out later in the day.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it Sunday. Don't let us forget.
Yeah. Don't let us forget in the comments. We'll see you guys on Monday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe. This has been The Unwritten Rule, brought to you by FanDuel.